right, we're back. Episode 2.
Let's
I'm
go,
your
let's go, let's
boy,
go.
Shaniac, and he is.
DROD. Let's go. Let's get it. Episode 2. We got a good reception at episode 1. We brought up some major points. Just stuff that we've reminisced about from last year, from years past. We're going to have a little more focused episode this time around. This week, we got a couple big games coming up on Sunday. It's championship week in the NFL, the No Fun League, as it has been referenced in the past.
No Fun League. These refs.
Remember when they couldn't even celebrate in the end zone? It's terrible.
These refs,
No
they're
fun.
getting me tight.
Oh my God, that's a whole separate thing, bro. Yeah.
All right, let's look back real quick. Chiefs won, as expected. They beat the Browns. Packers, as expected. Saints lost. I thought Drew Brees was going to beat Tom Brady.
Shane, that was my sleeper pick, yeah.
But when you think about it, low-key, Drew Brees looked like an 85-year-old man. He couldn't throw more than 10 yards. They should have lost that game. And what was the last game? Bills beat the Ravens. Like we said last week, the Bills play in snow. Granted, I don't think it really snowed like a lot, but it was cold.
It didn't. I think the fact that Lamar Jackson did get hurt. He missed the last, I think, like 6 minutes of the game. Whatever it was a young rookie that came in, finished, I guess whatever job he could, but by that time the game was already a goner. The Bills took that one pretty easy. Yeah, Shane, you're absolutely right about the Packers. They won that game pretty easy. That was against the Rams. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. I guess he's spending his time in Cabo with the Seahawks now. The Bucks, Shane, completely agree with you before. I honestly picked the Saints to win as they beat them without Michael Thomas the first two times in the regular season. But
and I think one of them was without Breeze.
No. That was before. That was right before he broke his ribs either that week or the week after. He broke 11 ribs
I was about to
and had a punctured lung. That man was on his deathbed and he came back 3 weeks later. He did not look like the Drew Brees we all know. It's just Tom Brady obviously outplayed him. He looked old.
Bad.
He looked terrible.
He looked bad. I was shocked.
Granted,
I was like, this is not Drew Brees.
The Saints were playing hurt. Michael Thomas is already going for surgery, I think, on his foot. He was either playing with a broken foot or torn ligaments in his foot. Drew Brees obviously played the whole season fairly hurt. I think he tore his shoulder. Like I said before, the 11 broken ribs, which is disgusting with the punctured
40
lung.
years old? Good luck.
Hey, and obviously, that leads into other conversations about, retirement, which we'll talk about. We'll get into a little bit. But the Bucks win that one. The Chiefs came down to the wire. Chad Henne. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Oh boy, that what was it? 15
actual Henny.
Oh yeah, he's gonna come out a Super Bowl commercial. Watch, Mahomes is gonna come out as State Farm, and he's gonna come out of the commercial right after. Just a little bottle of Henny, pour it out. They're my Super Bowl pick at least, so that would work out. But he had a 15-yard scramble at the end of the game. That it was 3rd and 15, scrambles 15 yards, gets to the inches, and we're all thinking, oh my God, if they make this, the Browns are obviously toast. But if they don't, the Browns get the ball just by midfield, and they can score and win the game.
They easily would have won that game. Easily.
It's funny because the announcers were talking about, the Browns knew that they could punt right before that drive because they knew the ball wasn't going to Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
You give the ball to Patrick Mahomes, that game's over. Give it to Chad Henne, you got options. Unfortunately,
on that scramble, I've never seen a backup quarterback that hype before in my life.
Oh my God, bro! I remember looking at my TV thinking, like, this is the backup. Like, this is Mahomes'. He's Mahomes' backup. Listen, he's been in the league for a decent amount of time too.
14 years, I think, or something like that.
He started out in Miami, I think. Mm-hmm. But listen, man, he gets the 4th and inches, a quick out route to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill slides on the floor. I didn't think he should have passed it.
Play. They should have ran a play. Draw them off
They
sides.
should have, draw them off sides. And I think that's what everyone was thinking too. Is they only lined up to just hut. No play call. Sure enough, they get ballsy. They know they got a number one option.
Yeah, that's low-key why it worked, because everyone was like, oh, they're just trying to throw us offside. So all of a sudden you see pass.
The Browns expected that, I'm sure. Because the corner, the space on Tyreek Hill for him to make that catch at, an inches yard line catch, like, hey, like, that's going to cost you your season. Regular season, first round, second round, Super Bowl, doesn't matter where you are. You got to be prepared on every down for whatever. And it's tough in the league, I'm sure, but what a way to lose that game. Mahomes, obviously, looking a little iffy.
When his knees buckled, I said, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he took a hit. He was concussed. If you want to see the definition of concussion, you go watch on that unfortunate highlight. It was bad.
But in the replay, he really didn't get hit. Like, if you look at it,
like
their helmets missed. But the way his head got pulled, I feel like he
it's not. Yeah, it was like bow.
Yeah,
it was like a whiplash type of thing. Yeah.
So I'm like, how you get a concussion off of that? Like, he didn't hit you, but then you see his head snap, and I'm like, oh yeah, concussion.
Listen, your brain inside of there, it's like
can't handle that.
It's like when you take a fish out of an aquarium, and you got the little girl from Finding Nemo, shook it up. And that's what your brain happens, bro. Concussions are not fun, bro. Yeah. Shane, I think it's about that time we got to the football episode, and we dove in a little bit about your team, how they finished fairly strong, and comes down to week 17. You got the Giants Cowboys, real close, tough game that came down to the centimeters, if not like the millimeters, versus fumbling the ball at the end of the game. And the events that occurred in the last 30 seconds of that game were enough to kill old people, bro. Like, just enough to make people think like, oh my god, this might be my last breath, my last like conscious thought would be at this game right here. I like watching it from home. My dad being a Cowboys fan, sitting with him watching that game was just, it was riveting to say the least. Of there's not a lot of words, and I'm gonna let you have it just to give us. I want you to paint a picture in my mind of what you felt.
What I felt watching that game was, I really only had one thought, was do whatever it takes to hold on to Leonard Williams.
Absolutely.
Jets, Leonard Williams was a bum. Couldn't sniff the quarterback if you placed the quarterback on his nose. Couldn't smell him. Got to the Giants, and it's like, oh my god, this is what it feels like to be on a competent football team. Ooh, sack. I think he had like 6 sacks this year, which is not a lot, but for a defensive tackle,
that's not bad.
Like, you have Aaron Donald, who's gonna get his 12 sacks or whatever it is, something ridiculous.
Of course,
but
DPOY level.
Exactly, but for most nose tackles, you're not getting more than 3, 4, 5 sacks, 6 sacks maybe, because you have the center, and then whichever one of the guards, they're gonna double you every time, which is why defensive ends always get the love, because they edge rushers that are coming around the corner one-on-one. That's why they get all the sacks. But
Shane, just to point out, Shane, he finished with 11.5 sacks, 7th in the league right now. Leonard Williams.
Lied. I watched almost every game this year. I don't remember him getting 11 sacks.
Right behind Myles Garrett. And, bro, that says something.
That says a lot. 11.5 sacks?
You also had Blake Martinez, top 3 in total tackles for the year.
He's a GOAT. Honestly, I never heard of this guy before this year. And he was on, I think he was like lost on the Packers or wherever he came from.
He was in Green Bay for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was always in a league leader in tackles, but no one ever cared about him. When he got to the Giants, I'm like, yo, who is this guy flying around the field? And then, of course, he's a Pro Bowler this year. So I was like, I'll give him his due. He almost single-handedly kept the Giants defense together. Him and Logan Ryan kept the defense glued. I love that. So,
and Bradbury, too. The other corner on the other
Bradbury
side
shocked me because he was always good, of course, but he almost became a lockdown corner this year. Like locked down. Like anybody like he was following the top wide receiver. And that's kind of what bit the Rams.
Yeah.
Because Adams went to Jalen Ramsey like the people want you to follow me around.
Yeah.
So do it. Put your money where your mouth is. Follow me this game. Don't guard anybody else.
There was a lot of smack talk. A lot of smack talk before that game.
I've never seen a wide receiver look at the corner and say, "You so big and bad, follow me." And he didn't really put up that big of a game, but when it was
he had an early touchdown. Yeah.
When it was needed, he was getting the yards and stuff like that. But
he did what he did all year. Yeah.
He did what he did all year, and that's what he needed. Yeah. The Giants game was cool. Like I was excited because everything that I wanted them to do, they did. I was like, this is amazing. This is what I like to see. So of course, when Leonard Williams gets that sack or whatever it was, I think it was a sack to end the game. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Do whatever it takes to keep him. I think Logan Ryan has like 2 or 3 years left on his deal, so he's not going anywhere. Blake Martinez, keep him. I think he has 1 year left. Keep him, extend him, because these guys are the only reason why we were even remotely close to a playoff seed. Because
that Giants defense showed out, Shane. Showed out.
So you already know I'm a Jabril Peppers stan when it comes to when he got traded to the Giants. When he got traded to the Giants, I'm like, Jersey boy, and he's out here balling out. Like he had his moments of last year where I was like, this guy is horrible. Send him home. But this year, I'm like, Jabril, Logan Ryan, and Bradbury blessed my soul this year. So if we can keep that together, Blake Martinez, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, we're good. Now all we need is offense because we have a million wide receivers. None of our tight ends can catch. I don't care about Evan Ingram. Trade him. He can't catch.
He's probably gone after this year. You're right.
He can't catch. How are you a Pro Bowler and you can't catch? It makes no sense to me. We should have won at least 8 games this year, but 2 of the games right through his hands on a game-winning touchdown. It's not like the corner had his hand. No, wide open, drops it twice. We wouldn't have even been in this situation if he just caught the ball.
Yeah. No, you're right. So then, there's a lot of 4th down, 3rd down situations that he dropped the ball.
I'm not talking about those drops. I'm talking about literal 4th quarter, a minute 30 left on the clock.
Yeah.
Tie game or wherever, down 1 or 2, wide open. Nobody in front of him. If he catches this, we win the game. Drop. Twice this year. So that puts us at 8 wins. You think we're worried about week 17 if we already have 8 wins?
Not at all. So then you already won the division.
We already won the division. So then we move forward to the Eagles versus the Washington Redacted. And we have Doug Peterson like, I don't care if it's only 17-14. Let's put in this scrub that's never going to be our starting quarterback. Let's just put him in. Let's see what he can do. See what he can do? Are you nuts? See what he can do? You gotta be kidding me.
Ooh, Shane, that game was brutal. I thought they were at least going to give some competition. I thought the Eagles were gonna save the Giants' season, push them give them the extra boost they needed. As soon as the second half hit, Jalen Hurts balling the whole game. He comes to the sideline. He made one mistake, I think, after like 4th down, and Peterson takes him to the sideline. He gives him a little like pep talk, whatever talk. Next drive, he's off. He's off the field. He's standing on the sidelines. They got a 3rd stringer in. Obviously, Carson Wentz is where he is. But just regardless of what you saw, the Eagles were tanking that game. They were tanking it. No matter the outcome, it was tanked.
What got me upset wasn't so much that they pulled him, because he was terrible. I think he was like what 6 for 21 passing for like
in that game.
75 yards. It was bad. The issue was he scored both of their touchdowns.
Well, yeah,
It's not like he was getting bailed out by like some iffy passes. Like no, he
no,
rushed for 2 touchdowns.
yeah,
That's why the score was 17-14.
yeah.
So that means he's the only player on the field that even did anything. And you say, let's take out our only player that was balling that game and put a scrub in. And it's not like,
Hey,
you put him in and he comes out there, pulls a Chad Henne, scrambling, throwing some tough passes. Like, no, this guy came in the game, fumbled the snap, almost threw a pick, fumbled the next snap. It's like, okay, now you should know, take him out because clearly he can't even catch the snap. Take him out.
He's not doing anything to benefit the team. Like it was clear and obvious
that
at
was
that
benefiting
point.
the team, and that's why they kept him in. You know why?
It was
Because
for a draft pick.
Yeah, for the draft pick, they moved up to the 6th spot from the 9th spot. Come on, bro.
I guess in the long term, they're thinking about their future, but yeah, go on.
The whole team said it. We don't care about a pick. We're trying to win every game.
Yeah, that's why they play. Suit up every Sunday to win.
Exactly. If you're gonna tell me we're trying to lose this game, then let me sit out too. Why should I risk my body if we're trying to lose the game? Tell me.
Don't put me out there.
I'll take an injury right now.
Yeah. Shane, do you think the events overall of the season, Carson Wentz's mishaps, and then the result of this game, do you think that all led up to Doug Peterson being canned?
Oh, Doug Peterson was getting fired.
Regardless of...
You know why?
Regardless of week 17 or regardless at what point do you think?
When Carson Wentz became a bum.
Yeah. Okay.
And Carson Wentz started talking about, I don't like this offense. Like, what do you mean you don't like this offense? This is the same offense that you were 12-1 in on your way to an MVP.
This is about midway through the season, by the way. So about midway through the season when they realized that they're not getting a playoff spot because, maybe getting a playoff spot because of NFC East stuff, but most likely not getting a playoff spot because they had the worst offense in the league at one point, midway through the season.
But he's like, I don't like the offense. Bro, you were 12-1 with this offense on your way to an MVP, on your way to the number 1 seed in the NFC, on your way to a Super Bowl. You got hurt. Nick Foles came, won a Super Bowl under this offense. You come back and you're a scrub, and then you're going to blame it on the offense? No, it's on you. And when you give somebody as much money as they gave him, guess what happens? Guess who wins? The guy who's making $5 million a year or the guy who's making $35 million a year? Of course they were going to can the coach. It's easy. That was guaranteed.
Yeah. That's a good point, Shane. That is a good point.
The only coach that is absolved from doing any of that is Bill Belichick. He can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants because he's the GM too.
Listen, if we're going to go into, I guess, that segment, Belichick, obviously, him being the coach of the last 2 decades, the pinnacle of, or the founder, the school of where most of the newer head coaches are coming from. Patricia, even though he got fired, Flores, McDaniel's probably going to another team soon. Joe Judge, I guess you can even count under him. Obviously, has led great teams, a dynasty last 2 decades. A lot of teams aspire to be there, clearly. But, despite the situation that happened with Tom Brady after the Eagles Super Bowl, I'm fairly sure, contract negotiations that just went sour. Brady wanted to play longer. Kraft knew that. Belichick was not gonna give him the new contract. He felt that Brady didn't deserve it. We're now seeing obviously the results of what could have been. Brady still in New England, potentially with a different offense than what we saw this year. I mean, Cam Newton had nothing this year. You can go into depth in the Patriots, but it was a bad season. 7-9 is not like the worst season. it puts us in the middle of the pack in the draft, I guess. But if we're getting Cam Newton to do our bidding and scores 20 touchdowns this season, 12 rushing, 8 passing, I think 12 picks, 13 picks, something like that. Listen, the guy, you gave the guy no receivers, 2 half healthy running backs, a defense that kept their defensive backs but had no front 7, front 6, front 7. It's a different team. Like, it's hard to even say, like, oh, can you compare what this team would be like if Brady was still here? Because technically they would probably be worse. Cam Newton had 12 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, man, I'm glad you said that. You said that.
They would probably be worse. Tom Brady would have probably looked at this team and retired, if not asked to be traded. He was lucky enough, I guess, to, not accept a new contract, say, hey, I'm going for greener pastures. But, Belichick gets what he deserves, I guess, for the last 20 years. He gets what he deserves this year. He got a 7-9 team. He can't complain too much. But, in terms of their quarterback situation, their offensive play style, it's going to revolve around, whoever's up next. Everyone thinks we're taking a rookie quarterback in the draft. I personally couldn't care less who we take in the draft because a quarterback is not going to change the dynamic of this team.
I think you keep Cam.
You keep Cam? I mean, they already released him.
Get him, sign him again.
Re-sign him.
Because, let's be real, you could even see it in his face. He was looking around the field like, bro, none of these guys can get open.
No. He had one receiver that I guess they signed from Arizona, Dymere Bird, played with him in Carolina. That was 4 years ago.
Cam doesn't have the arm strength he used to have. He's not as fast.
No.
When I feel like after this year, he's probably going to realize, like, okay, I can't run as much as I used to.
He's going to have to change his play style.
Yeah. You give him no receivers, no running backs. He's just a guy that runs.
Yeah. He's expected to be the
Lamar
guy.
Jackson. He's expected to be Lamar Jackson because that's what he was before.
Yeah. So listen, the Patriots go into, I guess, what they'll consider the dark ages for themselves until they get a new quarterback, a new franchise guy. Belichick probably lasts a couple more years, maybe there.
He's there until he retires.
Maybe. I can't see him on a new team. I think you're right about that. He won't get fired. No, not after this season. Cashman. It wasn't him.
He's Brian Cashman.
He won't get fired after this season. He'll get fired if he completely disinvolves himself from the team as a coach, like Gase was last year.
2-14 for him to get
fired. Pretty much. But listen, wherever it is, and moving on to, I guess, other AFC East teams. You look at the Bills' success, the pinnacle of success for I think
this year at least
our division, or maybe even close to AFC teams. You look at Miami also flourishing, just missing maybe 1 or 2 pieces, probably at quarterback. The big talk, I guess, is, Deshaun Watson is a quarterback that could be moving to the AFC East. And the remaining 3 teams, not the Bills, are potentially interested in him. Shane?
Everyone is interested in him.
I mean, everyone who's lacking a quarterback, obviously, but every team that is in desperate need is not in as much desperation as, say, the Jets or the Dolphins for a quarterback, even to an extent the Patriots. But of those 3 teams just listed, where do you see Watson going if he's traded? If he's traded,
the team that has the best chance is the Jets. And I'll say this because of this. If he gets traded to the Dolphins, say, for example, the Dolphins, they went 7-9?
No, 10-5. 10-5. They had a good season last season.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
They went 10-5. So what are they picking? 20th overall? 16th?
Something like that. They actually have a second pick early on because of Houston. In Kenny Stills trade. Pretty sure
So
from last season.
you see the issue with that, right? So they trade Watson to the Dolphins. The only appealing pick is the pick that they gave them. So they're just going to get it right back. So you're not really like, even though you are gaining, you're not really.
They're getting
gaining.
a second first-round pick. I mean, 2 first-round picks is good. I understand your point in the fact that, you know, between the Texans' place in the draft and Miami's place in the draft, you're not getting a star better. Player. Yeah.
You trade to the Jets, you get the number 2 pick. You might get Sam Darnold as well.
And some.
And then you'll get the second round pick, which is basically another first round pick because they picked second in the second round. So you're getting two first round picks technically.
Yeah.
And you're getting a quarterback who could still be a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. Joe Douglas, the GM of the Jets, literally said Sam was in a bad spot. He blamed the whole thing on that bum that was their coach, Adam Gase, the last 2 years. He said
as he should.
He was in a bad spot. You know, he didn't really have people around him. I'm working on that. Don't worry about it. He's going to be our quarterback going into 2021. Mm-hmm. So if you trade for Watson, you're not going to keep Sam. You're going to give them Sam and the number 2 overall pick and probably the second round pick. Yeah. So that's my reasoning for the Jets. And his brother is a big Jets fan. So you already know he's in his ear like, yo, tell him to go to the Jets.
He also got the seal of approval from Richard Sherman. They got a new coach in there, Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
He coached 49ers, DC or defense? Yeah.
Quarterback, defense coordinator.
Yeah. And I think that was the year they went to the Super Bowl, no? Against Kansas City last year? Was it? No, he was out of the league last year, I think.
No. Salah?
Yeah.
Salah? No, he's been their defensive coordinator. He technically is still their defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Got introduced as a Jets defensive coordinator.
Okay. So I'm thinking of somebody else who's out of the league. But obviously, you know, the guys, you know, bringing a new style of play. Obviously, very, you know, it's if you're a quarterback that's looking for a new team, you might want to start there. You might want to start where there's a new head coach who has a good rep, a good defense who can back up that, you know, offense that you're trying to build around. There's rumors of the Jets picking up another receiver maybe in that, you know, just giving themselves room to pick up. They got a young offensive line that could potentially, you know, be built stronger, maybe add another free agent, maybe pick another guy in the draft. But just, you know, overall, if you're Deshaun Watson, if you're the Houston Texans, like you're saying, you want to look at a team like the Jets to pay you what he's worth. He's got a huge contract that is going to be very hard to eat up.
One issue, though.
Yeah.
Who is he going to play with?
I mean, that's the issue for the Jets, right? It's that, you know, who comes up next? We got our big guy, our star. Who comes next? Obviously, it's weapons.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is probably going to be excited to go to the Jets until he finds a team.
Oh, yeah.
He goes to the Dolphins.
No draft picks now. Well,
he goes to the Dolphins. They're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. And their offense is not that bad. They had actually some decent running backs show up in the end of the season. Devontae Parker got hurt at the end of the season, but he actually played fairly well for a Dolphins quarterback that was playing under Tua and Fitzpatrick half and half of the season. And a couple of younger studs that really proved themselves at the end of the season. Just backed by a defense that was probably top in the league.
Yep.
If you're Watson, the more enticing team is Miami overall. Yeah. And we know that. But I think in general, the Jets are going to give the Texans what Watson is worth. I see Watson getting traded to Miami.
Yeah.
I see Watson getting traded to Miami. Despite the 2 first-round picks, the Texans get their pick back and Miami's plus a second, plus a future. I mean, that's what all these count for. They'll get it.
Hey, I don't think so because they're going to give Tua, who's technically a first-round pick. You're just getting the first-round pick
from last season. Yeah. Listen, the Miami has a lot to work with, and obviously not as much to offer as the Jets, but they're giving Watson the peace of mind that he wants in an offense.
That's what I would hope, but his brother is a big Jets fan. And
there's influence there.
James Harden, I think James Harden is probably going to reach out to him like, yo, come to New York.
We got something coming in New York. Yeah, we got something coming in New York. Houston Stars.
The Giants to look at him.
Hey,
You ain't got nothing
Would
to
you be
give him,
willing
but look
to
at him.
just look?
Danny Dimes is my guy, but
Yeah,
Danny Dimes crumbled under pressure.
he needs
So
to
I
develop
have to
more.
see him play next year because we're gonna make the playoffs next year, unless the Cowboys sign Dak. If the Cowboys go with Andy Dalton or if Dak signs somewhere else, then we're making the playoffs. But if Dak comes back, I'll give the Cowboys the playoffs.
They could do it. There's a lot of options there for Watson, despite the fact that he was wearing a Niners jersey and an Instagram story or post. That's not making any real waves. It's not happening. You trade Jimmy Garoppolo, but
Exactly.
what else?
Nobody
Other than
wants
that,
Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers don't even want Jimmy Garoppolo after
which
they
is
gave him
why
that
they were
money.
probably looking at Watson. But if I'm Houston, it's not worth it.
No.
It's obvious it's not worth it. The guy didn't play last season. He was hardly a factor in the Super Bowl last year. Last year.
2 years ago. Was it last year?
Well, no, it was last year, but
Last year was
season
against
ago.
the
Chiefs, Niners.
That was last year.
Hey man, time moves fast.
You sure it was the Niners?
Yeah, man, it felt like 2 years ago. It was a year ago. It was Niners and Chiefs. This year it'll be Packers and Chiefs. Oh, okay. Wait, I jumped the gun, but we're a week ahead.
The Chiefs played the Niners last year.
Yeah. Last year in February. First week of February. Super Bowl week. Always happens.
Oh my gosh. I could have sworn it was another team. Like, I'm thinking.
Yeah, no. They were the top seed in the NFC, and they ran the gauntlet. They took out everybody.
So, Eagles was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
2
2018.
years ago was the Rams.
Yeah.
And then last year was the 49ers.
Yeah.
How do you go from Super Bowl contender, like in the actual Super Bowl, to a bum? That makes no sense to me.
If you're talking about Garoppolo, I mean, you're just looking at what kind of factor he really was.
When did he tear his ACL? That was 3 years ago. Time is going too fast.
Yeah, bro. Aside from Watson, we've had some other NFL news. Just in terms of retirees, Philip Rivers got 17 seasons under his belt, 11 kids. They're talking about a Hall of Fame bid for him already.
He needs to measure the gold jacket already. Measure it.
He's 5th in the league in passing yards, 5th in passing touchdowns. I think 12th in passer rating overall. You still give him the bid?
Measure the jacket. You know why? Because I heard this on the radio the other day. I forgot what year it was, but AFC Championship game against Tom Brady a long time ago. Philip Rivers tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Had surgery, told him, take it out. Just take out the whole thing. I'm going to play on one foot. And was out there fighting for his life. Granted, no shot.
He lost, of course. He lost, of course.
Once I heard he did that, because I was too young to pay attention heavy, to remember that. So I'm like, yo, he played on one foot.
Listen, that was the Patriots' undefeated season. That it was a stretch from the beginning. But
measure the jacket.
Shane is saying Hall of Famer. I mean, the NFL is pretty, I guess, lenient in their Hall of Fame picks. Not too many, I guess, play long enough or stay long enough to, endure the league and put up the numbers that they do. Rivers has put up some numbers. He didn't prove it with a ring, didn't prove it in the playoffs, but as a regular season quarterback, give him his flowers.
If I believe Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. So if I believe Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, I have to believe that Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer because he's a better quarterback than Eli Manning. The difference between him and Eli Manning is that Eli Manning went to the playoffs and dominated in the playoffs. He didn't just win the Super Bowls. That guy was almost single, other than the defense, he was carrying the team. He was going into because we was always a wild card. He was going into people's stadiums and putting the whooping on them. And it's this guy runs 3 miles an hour. He's slower than his brother, which makes no sense to me. And it's but he's dropping footballs on a dime. Perfectly placed footballs against some elite defenses. And it's no, he's a Hall of Famer. So if I believe he is, Philip Rivers has to be a Hall of Famer. Has to.
All right. We're looking at maybe some other retirements this year. Roethlisberger maybe being one of them. Breeze being a potential another.
Breeze got to go. He looks
bad. I think Breeze is gone after that playoff performance.
He like a 85-year-old with a walker. I said, no, man, this is bad.
I mean, you can equally say Roethlisberger was just as bad. He came back in the second half.
Came back in the second half. 30-something points.
Yeah, the start was bad for Roethlisberger, and since
half of those weren't they tipped?
The guy's 6'6". Like, you can't get tipped line. If you're throwing picks to defensive linemen and you're over 6 feet tall, you might have a vision problem. You might have an arm problem. I don't know.
I'll give you.
And if Brady loses, there's already people thinking maybe he's done after this year, even though he's got another year in Tampa. Yeah, I know. He's gonna get his money.
45, so he's gonna just finish the deal and then retire.
Yeah, I think he plays next year. There's no shot he retires.
4 number 1 wide receivers play. Like
someone's bound to get you there. Yeah, someone's bound to help you out eventually, no matter what age you are. Peyton Manning could come back right now and probably be decent on that team.
I remember you sent me the what's it, Bleacher Report video.
And yeah.
Well, number 1 wide receivers, and they were.
That's the shout out to Gridiron Heights, bro.
Gridiron Heights.
That show is so funny.
Yeah. And then I think we were talking about this before. The Steelers signed Dwayne Haskins. Like, yeah, he's a bum, but he's
looking to sign it. Yeah, they're looking to sign him. Did they actually already push the papers through?
Let me check.
Let's see.
I don't know if it got approved, but they signed him.
I know they're looking at him to replace Big Ben, and there was already talk about Mason Rudolph, like what his role is now. He's obviously still a backup. Okay, yeah, we got to that point.
Mason Rudolph is a bum.
Myles Garrett put him in his place. Myles Garrett put him in his place.
There's no proof that he said what he said, but Myles Garrett is one of the nicest people on the face of this planet. And
I believe him.
The fact that he took that helmet and hit him in the head, he said something to him.
He said something. I believe him. That's all I got to say. So yeah, Dwayne Haskins potentially replacing Big Ben in Pittsburgh. And then obviously, you got the new coaches hired. Last week we missed out on Urban Meyer. Goes to Jacksonville, former Ohio State football coach.
Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer.
It's going to be a good duo, I guess. To on paper, you think about it. In terms of college quarterbacks, Urban Meyer has developed some monster college quarterbacks.
Monsters.
NFL quarterback, when they turn into NFL quarterbacks, Ohio State quarterbacks aren't, like they make noise. They're usually like number 1, number 2 draft picks, or round draft picks. But in general,
but even going back to his football days, he created Tim Tebow, who, even though he went 12-2 in his career, was an actual
with a playoff win.
He was still a bum. But he went 12-2, which makes no sense how you could be 12-2 and still be a bum at the
place for the Mets
position. So, and then he technically he created Cam Newton. Cam Newton transferred from Florida.
Okay, yeah.
Under Tebow, because he was like, I'm never gonna play. And then he transferred to Auburn.
Yeah.
And then that's when he became a big star.
Yeah, he's like the step coach, the biological step coach. Yeah, to Cam Newton. So, I feel that.
But then everybody else is a bum. Like Terrell Pryor ended up as a
receiver.
Wide receiver. I don't even know. Was he even under him? Or was that the coach before? The Terrell Pryor
that might have been the coach for a long
time. He's been in the league a while.
But the same thing happened to what's his name? From the first year where they played like 3 quarterbacks that season, ended up with Cardell Jones, Braxton Miller. He was a wide receiver in Texans. On the Texans for a while, and he's not in the league, I don't think, right now. And if he is, he's like practice squad at best. But listen, Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer looks to be a project, I guess, in the works. Does Lawrence go 1 overall, you think?
If any team passes on Trevor Lawrence, it has to be because he lost his foot in a car accident. He is the number 1 overall pick, and anybody who says anything else doesn't know football.
I got you.
Justin Fields is not better than Trevor Lawrence. Let's just get that correct from now.
Okay. No,
Don't even go there.
I'm not even debating you on that because I actually believe that. But hey, listen, I think he does go one overall. Justin Fields, I don't think
He's
he
gonna
gets
be.
top.
I feel like he's
I
gonna
don't
be
think
a
he gets
stud.
top 3.
Oh, he's gonna be number 2 overall pick. Number 2.
Nah, he won't go well to the Jets as far as we know.
He might, because remember the Jets were the whole thing. Oh, the Jets are gonna trade back because they have Sam Darnold, or they're gonna trade Darnold to the Texans, whatever. Either one, as somebody else ends up with the second overall pick, and they'll probably take a quarterback.
Do you doubt Mac Jones from Bama, even though he is a Bama quarterback? Also, questionable NFL ties. You look at Hurts,
I feel like
McCarron.
I feel like Bama quarterbacks are good. The issue is when your wide receivers are so much better than the corners on every other team in the country.
Yeah.
They're always 10 yards of space between them and the cornerback, which is why the quarterbacks look so good.
Bama is, in my eyes, at least wide receiver university, just in terms of the product. The product that they bring out from there, even to an extent, linebackers. They put out some monster linebackers from there too. Grown men and running back. Let's talk about Bama another day. Bama has some influence in the NFL, we all know. But despite that, going back to coaching, we got Nick Sirianni, former Indianapolis offensive coordinator, new coach in Philly, replacing Doug Peterson. Obviously going to be coaching, between Jalen Hurts and maybe Carson Wentz. We don't know if this is the move that potentially keeps Carson Wentz. Just an offensive coordinator, led a really good offense with Rivers this year, has led some good offenses with Jacoby Brissett in the past. Just, a guy that might fit in Philly, but I personally think that Philly is missing weapons still. They're missing receivers. A running back, Miles Sanders, he ran pretty well this year, got hurt a little bit. And the offensive line, Wentz, I think, was hit more than any other quarterback at one point in the season, just because their offensive line was Swiss cheese. But it's a new look, new dawn, new day, whatever you call it in Philly. Maybe he's a good pick. Personally, I think Philly's missing out on just more than just a coach. We got Dean Campbell in Detroit. Some people, called him the dude abides from what's that movie? You know that movie. You don't know that movie. You might know that movie. No. That's fine. Listen, new coach in Detroit. Detroit doesn't make noise for, anything really. Even
I've never seen a team have so many good players and always end up rubbing.
It's every year. They took some of New England's when Patricia left, kind of like when Flores left. Mm-hmm. When Patricia left, he took a couple New England defensive ends, defensive backs, and they were terrible. Like they were obviously the same names that came from New England, and they had some decent games, a decent season here or two. I can't even name them anymore. I know Trey Flowers might be still there. They have a corner, I think, still there from New England. Just guys who had talent, have opportunities to have talent on one team and mess it up there. It's just It's a staple of Detroit, I guess. But new coach in Detroit. Haven't heard that one before, I guess, but looking forward to Dan Campbell coaching the Lions. And then the JETS, Robert Saleh. All gas, no brakes, he says today. That's the new Jets mantra.
He said he wants his defense to be violent.
Hey, listen, if you're a DC and, you come into a team that can be molded to your liking, given where the Jets were last year, you take that team, you turn it upside down. If you're Coach Saleh, you literally tear it from the ground up, plant the seeds, water it, grow it. He'll be a professional botanist by the end of the year. Listen, I think it's a good hire. The Jets had no sign of a defense last year, even when they beat the Rams, and that was just bad offense. And the Browns, bad offenses. Exactly. They had no defense last year. This is definitely a pick-me-up for them. Again, another team that needs weapons. These hires look nice. These teams don't, is the bottom line. I don't see much improvement between this year and next year, personally.
frankly. Um,
Draft.
Devontae Smith. We already talked about the quarterback, so
Yeah,
it's
we
really
don't want to know.
whatever. Devontae Smith. Once again, like I said, when your wide receivers find 10 yards of space, I wonder how he's going to end up playing in the NFL.
He lines up, I think he was, they said 6'1", 165. And there's only been a few receivers who that size have really, really made marks. I think CeeDee Lamb at the combine measured tall but very skinny last year. This year, obviously, put on some NFL muscle. Probably next year, looking at a much bigger receiver as well. But again, Bama's receivers, like you say, outperformed their opponents in the college, but they turn out to be really good receivers in the pros. Like the last 10 I can name at least have a team that they're on.
Yeah,
right?
They're still in the league.
There's
Yeah.
some of the teams that have made the playoffs this year in the past, they've all got Bama receivers. I don't doubt them. Won the Heisman for a reason, broke a bunch of records at Bama, broke a bunch of records for the NCAA, took receptions and receiving yards in a season. Just,
that's
another
low
Bama
key.
standout.
Low key, both of our teams need that though. Like,
yeah.
Pats, Giants choose higher than the Pats, but it's like he's not going to be available. But if he is, scoop him because yes, the Giants have Slayton, we have Shepard, we have. If you want to count Ingram, Ingram can't block and he can't catch. So what position?
He probably won't be here next year. So why not?
No, but we need a tight end. We have 3 wide receivers: Golden Tate, Shepard, and Slayton are 3 wide receivers. We don't need more. Of course, it would be nice, but we don't need more. We need a tight end that can catch.
Yeah. I mean, most of your other tight ends, I think, on the roster are usually just pass blockers.
Yeah, pass blockers. They catch when they have to, but they're not there to catch the ball. Evan Ingram was drafted to be a huge wide receiver that his main job is to catch. We're not putting you in pass blocking situations because we know you're not strong enough to do that. Catch the ball, and he can't do that. So we need that. Our offensive line is pretty good. If we just get an offensive line coach that can keep them together, that'd be fine. Other than that, I feel like we're good. Like we're getting Saquon back. Danny Dimes is Danny Dimes for a reason. I just need him to step up, stop fumbling the ball. Yeah. Other than that, I feel like we're good because our defensive line, like I said, Dexter Fowler. If we can re-sign, Dexter Fowler.
Baseball. Yeah, I'm thinking baseball.
Dexter Lawrence. If we can re-sign Leonard Williams, and then we pick up an edge rusher in the draft. Our linebackers, we have Blake Martinez. DBs, we have Bradbury, Logan Ryan, and Jabril Peppers. Like, if we can keep that core together, we will be fine.
Yeah.
We just need a tight end that can catch. And
maybe a receiver's out there for you. Maybe he is.
And we need Andrew Thomas to get back to week 1 through 14. Andrew Thomas, who was the best overall rookie, blocking Daniel Jones. That's all we need you to do. You're a left tackle for a reason. You're the quarterback's blind side. He can't see from the left side. Block him, and he was doing a great job. And then the last 3 weeks, he fell off. And it's like, bro, what happened? So if we can shore that up,
I feel that. And like you said, Patriots need receivers. They obviously need a quarterback before anyone. I've heard reports that they take the Bama quarterback. If they're lucky, I guess, they get a higher ranking one, maybe Fields. I know there's a guy coming out of the Pac-12. Listen, Pac-12 quarterbacks don't impress me that much all anyway. But regardless, where the Patriots draft, I think they're 18th in the draft. They get maybe a receiver at that level, and hopefully they get a quarterback somewhere. Free agency, someplace, 2nd round, 3rd round. Maybe we'll go 6th round, 198th overall pick again, and just swing for the fences.
I might just show up one day, put my name in for the
drop it in the ballot box.
They're like, who's this guy? What school did he go to? No school. He went to Rutgers, but he didn't play on the team. Let's pick him. What the? You never know.
Shane, by those credentials, you'd probably be a great New England Patriots player because
Probably.
half of their team is made up of that. Guys who come out of the woodworks,
Like, where did this
not
guy come
stars.
from? He played a game in high school, freshman year. Hasn't touched the football since. Hey, pick him
Granted, you might have a breakout season in New England, but they'll only sign you for 1 year. So then you go to play in Detroit the year after, and hey, that's your career.
End up a scrub. Yeah.
Sorry, bud. Hey, so that's football. That's football. Yeah. Listen, man. There's a lot of other stuff going on. We got baseball off season. Some news. Oh my God, Shane. Things are actually happening in baseball. Who would have thought? But
last week, 2 weeks ago this time.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
No hope.
This time around, though, Yankees made a big move. Their big move that they finally put off until now. Just waiting on other teams to see if they go and grab them. But DJ LeMahieu is back at second base for the Yankees and first base and third base. Some games and utility and DH.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy to have back. I'm glad that the Yankees re-signed him. I had no doubts that they weren't going to. I was a little scared that another team was gonna put in a nice offer that he might consider. It was Yankees all the way. We knew it because obviously the Yankees have the money and the team and the power.
Not even so much really the money. It's because the Yankees have DJ's heart. DJ said it straight up. The Yankees offered me a contract, the biggest contract the last time, even though it was 2 years, 24 mil. They offered me the biggest contract last time, and I came and became an MVP caliber player here. I want to stay.
He did. He's coming back. He's probably up for an MVP contention this year again.
This year.
This coming year.
Yeah.
Was the best hitter on the Yankees last year. Probably expected to be the best hitter. In the year before.
Unless Glaber gets back to 2019 Glaber and then hits for higher average.
Oh yeah. He's got some potential up there too. Yeah, absolutely. George Springer had a bit of an off season. He's a bit up there in age, but Blue Jays went out and took 6 years, 150.
150. That's where everybody wanted
DJ to sign. Jump.
But I said it straight up. DJ's 32 and he's one-dimensional. He's two-dimensional. He's gonna hit for contact and he's going to play elite defense.
And Springer he'll go out and play a corner probably.
After 2 years. No, he's gonna be a center fielder for the next 2 years.
Okay, so he'll still stay in center for Toronto for the first couple of years. He'll probably take I'd say he probably takes like right field, maybe.
Yeah, because their right fielder right now is Grichuk. And Grichuk is gonna get. Yeah. He's not gonna be a Blue Jay forever.
No.
I think it's last year coming up. And you have Gurriel in left, who's elite. You have Teoscar, who's elite.
Teoscar Hernandez, yeah.
So
true.
You already know what's gonna happen.
The other big signing that happened and then didn't happen and then happened on another team was Michael Brantley. Went to Toronto. Not exactly, because he never fully negotiated. The report either came out too early or Toronto just didn't have what he wanted and they jumped the gun. It goes back to Houston. Personally, I thought Brantley initially signing with Toronto was going to give Toronto the offense that they wanted, which was, guys who get on base mixed with their young studs who are going to bring those runs in. They didn't have the staff. They still don't have the staff for it. But listen, those are some bats.
Think about it like this.
What's up?
Brantley goes to the Blue Jays. And then who plays?
No, he plays DH. He's a DH.
He's the DH?
Yeah.
Over Teoscar?
Yeah. You sub him in a couple times. Bro, like, if you're talking dog, come on, bro. For what you're doing with Michael Brantley is that you're putting him on, but you're getting the guy to lead off the bats, to get on base, to score runs. That's what he's done in Houston. That's what he did in Cleveland. It's like his job at this point. It's to get on base, to get hits, to score runs. That's his main objective. That's what he's done for the last 3-4 years. In Houston, that's pretty much what his job is going to continue to be. It's under a much different team, I guess. But we've got guys in Toronto who I think can put up those similar kind of stats if they're looking for a high-powered offense.
I feel getting Brantley on the Blue Jays would have been dumb because you have. Let's just go to position by position.
Mhm.
Danny Jansen at catcher. He's a
Mhm.
bum, but he's the catcher. They have Alejandro Kirk,
It's
who's
a
like
catcher.
5'2", but hits missiles. So you keep him whatever. Then you have Vladdy at first, Biggio at second, Bichette at short. Third base is who's their third baseman? I don't even think they really have a third baseman right now.
Dude, the last I remember from Toronto is Brandon Drury, and I think he's like a backup there, or
Yeah,
if not
you
even on
could
the
you
team.
you technically could put Gurriel at third because he's a shortstop that they moved to left field. So say he plays third, whatever, that's fine. You have Teoscar in left, you have um Springer in center, and then you have Grichuk in right. So at the very minimum, no, I think Travis Shaw is still there. So Travis Shaw's the third baseman. So
Yeah.
now you have a DH already. So what are you gonna do? Rotate DH? You can't
No,
do
you
that
keep
with
you
the
keep in
team
the
of studs.
DH and you sub him in maybe a couple games in left right field. I
Not for
mean,
that. Nah, it's too much money for him to not play every single day.
but he's
That's
also up
why
there
he.
in age. He's not
That's
going to
why
be
he went
playing
back
you
to
every single time
Houston
because he's
because
got a
he can
spot, I
play every
guess.
day.
Yeah, I feel like if he wants to get, no, I'll hold that thought. He won't get his money's worth in Toronto. He'll get his money's worth in
In
Houston, which is
and
probably
he'll
it's exactly why he took that deal back in
exactly, and he'll
Houston.
probably play enough to get another deal after
Yeah,
this.
yeah, a couple
And
of
then
short term
exactly,
man deal, but
it's
yeah,
either he goes to the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are Angels East, or he goes back to the Astros. They still technically have the best team in the West because the Angels still have no pitching. Verlander's coming back,
of
so
course,
you know, so that
it's an
moves on to
opportunity.
yeah, but
Yeah,
like it moves on to Kirby Yates. Like Kirby Yates is going there. He didn't pitch at almost at all last year because he was injured. Like he had a couple. I think he had 1 or 2 games, but it's whatever.
oh yeah,
Go to the Blue Jays. He's their closer. Now the Blue Jays need to go sign. They need to sign everybody. They need to if they have the money still, go get Trevor Bauer. If do whatever you can because
yeah.
you're
It won't get Bauer, but
Ryu is
that's
good. Ryu is one of the top pitchers in the league. But other than him, who's there? Nate Pearson is going to be good, but right now he's still a bum.
even with Ryu. The season he had last year was it wasn't what he had on the Dodgers the year before. Obviously, it was NL
AL
hitting
East.
too. AL East hitting is gonna run you up.
Yeah.
But listen, if he's your number one guy, you're right. You go sign as many other guys as you can, especially for your starters. You need guys who are gonna throw you gas. We're gonna last you at least a good 5 innings, 6 innings.
Exactly.
Bauer would be that guy, but he won't go to Toronto. Just in my eyes, he won't go.
Yeah.
Um,
So then you have Lester, who signed with the Nationals to be their
yeah,
fifth starter.
yeah.
You have
Obviously, just keeping a rotation going and whatever's happening there.
J Hap, who, for the Twins' sake, I hope he's
Yeah,
not Game 2 J Hap. He needs to be regular season J Hap because
I feel like yeah,
if
yeah.
if he's Game 2, they have no hope.
I feel like this is J Hap getting his Sonny Gray moment to
Yeah.
get out of New York.
Yep.
You mess up in New York a couple times and they're on you like like roaches, hey, like pests. You get out of New York obviously, and you build yourself back from where you were before you came to New York.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray had a monster year last year out of
Both years.
nowhere. Yeah, the last 2 years.
This year.
And looking at the guy who was at the Yankees 3 years ago, I would have never guessed Sonny Gray would have come back and done that again.
No, actually, I did because if you look at his numbers, Sonny Gray went 6 innings, 2 runs every game. The issue is
in Cincy
no for the Yankees.
for the
first year he was
year
here,
year one. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
The issue is every game, even that year when he was good, every game he pitched, 13 men were on base. He gave up like 12 hits, like 5 walks. Like it was that guy. He just never let them score. So he was always going to be good, but it's just a matter of can his mental hold up pitching for the Yankees, and they never could. So that's why they traded him. But then move on because my boy Schwarber bombs.
Bro, I didn't even know he got signed.
The glitchiest swing in MLB The Show is on the Nats now. Soto's moving from left to right. Schwarber's going to
Oh
left
yeah.
field, and it's going to be amazing.
Soto wasn't right at one point, no?
No, I think he always played left.
Okay.
Whoever was their left fielder before that moved for Harper to right field. That year
Yeah.
Harper was hurt. Soto
Yeah.
came up, played left field, and then he moved it back. Both of them played at the same time. But
Got it.
Soto's the best hitter in baseball. Schwarber is gonna, come in there and hit bombs. Schwarber bombs is his name.
There was Yankee talk for him at one point. It wasn't gonna happen, but
I would have liked it. But
it would have been nice. Yeah. But he's got the lefty bat that I think they all miss for the DH spot. But right.
Low key, I'm happy. He signed for 1 year, $10 million, and I'm happy because the Cubs cut him for $8 million.
Yeah.
They could have traded him. They cut him for $8 million, and Schwarber said, "Hey, do whatever you want to do." And then he ended up getting $2 million more. And I'm like, that's a goon move because every team has just been like, "You're gonna get $8 million," and he said, "Whatever," and he ended up getting 10 million. Goon. And he have Quintana.
Jose Quintana, that's right. Signed to the Angels.
Absolutely washed. So dumb. Angels need innings. The Angels need innings, and they got innings because the guy is rarely hurt. He had a year or two where he was hurt, but for the majority of his career, 180 to 200 innings, 4 ERA, which is not good, but it's serviceable. So,
he came from
what it is.
Chicago.
Cubs.
Yeah.
The White Sox got traded to the Cubs for Eloy, and Eloy's a problem, and the Cubs got washed Quintana. So you already know how good that trade went. And then he's on the Angels. So maybe that entices Trevor Bauer to the Angels for it to be like, now we have some guy that's gonna throw innings, because you have Dylan Bundy, Quintana, and then you have Trevor Bauer at the top. You never know.
Maybe Ohtani if he actually throws this year.
No, they said he's only going to do one, so he's probably going to hit this year.
So he's just going to. All right.
Yeah,
so he'll just DH.
Next year. Yeah, the next year they'll probably make him both again.
Shane, what's happening in basketball? Some monster stuff going on, especially a certain person has returned.
He didn't retire. He got exposed yesterday, though.
Oh my God, Colin Sexton.
Kyrie
got 20 straight.
He said he was laughing at the shots he was putting up because they were all going in, and Kyrie's like, "Bro, I'm usually the one that does that." He's putting up shots from anywhere, and they were going in. He's like, he had all he could do was laugh, and he went to him. And he was like, "Bro, you were balling out tonight." And it's like, you know how bad you got to get exposed for you to go to the guy and say, "Yo,
bro, it was on video tribute night in Cleveland." On video tribute night to Kyrie Irving, on the day he comes back, he gets whacked. He gets mobbed by Colin Sexton.
They said, "Joe Harris, you guard him." They said, "KD, you about 7 foot tall, like a 7'10" wingspan, you guard him."
He hit a 3 on
buckets. I was like, yo, I was scratching my head. I was like, yo, my boy's balling out tonight. I can't even hold you. But what I will say is that the Nets got hold. They got hold because Kyrie on the game-winning drive, he's driving in, inadvertently elbows what's his name in the face. They call it offensive foul. So you're like, whatever, you call offensive foul. They overturned it. Instead of giving the Nets the ball back, what did they do? Let's jump it up at half court. What? There's a second left on the clock. It's our ball. You overturn the call. No, that's not how the rule works. Jump it up at half court, and guess what happened?
It's our ball.
That's why it went to OT.
Ain't it our ball?
OT again. And then that's why they lost, because you can't have a guy that hasn't played in 2 weeks play 50 minutes. A guy that only played 12 games after missing 18 months play 50 minutes. And then James Harden, who looks like me, Chubb, out there play 50 minutes. You can't have them 3 guys play 50 minutes and then Joe Harris playing 45 off the bench. How you play 45 minutes off the bench? And then Uncle Jeff, who's like 800 years old, plays 45 minutes.
Shane, it's also a matter of who else are you going to play for the other 20. I mean, listen, it was the first game back, right? You lose in double overtime. It's obviously a wake-up call for a couple games. You guys will come back in another 2 days, 3 days. Who you got up next on the schedule? Do you see who's at it?
Cleveland again.
Oh, it's Cleveland again. Oh, yeah. They're doing the series thing a couple games. Yeah. Knicks are in Golden State tonight. And, we've had a couple good wins. I'm happy for them. Blew out the Celtics. Wow. 30 points. Big one. Julius Randle, obviously the number one scoring option on our team. That's not promising, but he looks good this year. Tibbs is making him work. Just to say the least.
That's what's helping them.
Yeah. And, a young team that's playing lockdown defense. Oh, my God. I think we're are we one in the league in points allowed?
I wouldn't go that far, but you're close.
We're at least top 5. I'd say we're top 3.
Probably, to be honest with you.
Listen, compared to last season, this is a much different team. I'm happy for them. We probably won't win in Golden State tonight. There's obviously a man out there who decided he was going to clock in and rain fire on
bad man.
Shane. He's on fire. That is Wardell, as he was referred to by a news reporter today, Stephen Curry. He's on fire right now. The guy's taking the last 4 or 5 games and just turned the Warriors upside down. Against the Lakers, what was that, 2 nights ago? He absolutely took over the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes of the game. They were down by 15, and he was just raining threes, scoring in the paint, just overall taking over the game. Just taking the Warriors to the next level that they're missing, I guess, or that they were missing, And it's good to have Curry back. I like watching him play. He makes the league a lot more fun. He's obviously given the West a run for their money. He'll have success the rest of the season. He's Steph Curry. Why wouldn't he?
If Wiseman learns basketball, you can see he still plays like he's in high school sometimes. You taking it on the break. I get it. You got handles. You're 7 foot. You taking it on the break. You Euro stepped into the same exact spot that you were before. If you're gonna Euro, you gotta move. You just right back to here
and move forward.
Offensive foul. You gotta move.
7 foot man just stepping in two stepping in one spot just for a layup, for a floater. Come on, you got to get up there, get your weight up. At least he's got Draymond kind of coaching him through that, right?
Exactly.
He's got some good people at the top who are going to help him get through, I guess, that hump. But listen, there's a lot of moves going on, and hey, is this episode 2?
Episode 2.
Hey, that's episode 2. That's the DROD and Shaniac podcast. We got a basketball episode coming up next. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to jump the gun this time. Yeah, it is a basketball episode. But we got a lot of NBA news coming up next week. Obviously, getting into their season, I think a lot of teams are shaking up. They're going to make some big names for themselves coming in the next couple of weeks. The playoff picture is looking to be set up pretty soon. I think we're going to see the real, the fake, and everything in between that. But NFL episode obviously from today. We got a lot going on. Super Bowl is coming up soon. We got AFC Championship this Sunday, NFC Championship this Sunday. We're looking for 2 great games, obviously. Shane and I will obviously be here next week. We'll have updates for that. And, of course, plenty more. Everything in between. We got baseball news, obviously, as it comes in. And as the major outlets come in, we'll make sure to get that to you guys. Again, this is episode 2, DROD Shaniac podcast. Shane, it was a good one.
Remember, follow the Twitter. The Twitter is live.
It's live this time. We didn't say it in the last episode.
DROD N, like the letter N, at DROD N Shaniac pod.
Pod. P-O-D.
It's live. Follow us. Tweet at us. Any sports news you guys hear about, tweet at us. We want to hear it. Tweet at us. And then follow us individually.
Of course. Shane, what are you at?
That's like THATSA _ Shane.
Shane.
That's simple. Very simple.
That's a Shane. And I am at Danny Rod 75. No underscores. No nothing in between. Danny Rod 75.
Follow us on Insta too.
Why not? We there.
Once again, that's a Shane. You'll find me very easily. That's a _ Shane.
I think I messed it up that time. I got an underscore in that one. It's gonna be harder. It's right in the middle. It's just Dan_Rod 75.
Regardless, you know where to find us. We'll put it under the video on YouTube for those who are watching on YouTube. We'll put it under the YouTube video so you can just copy and paste from there and put it on Twitter and Insta. All right.
And by the way, we'll be on Podbean, we'll be on Spotify, we'll be on Apple Music, we'll be on a bunch of other radio sources. We'll update you on the Twitter as well as we come out with more stuff. But hey, thanks for listening. It's been a good one. Shane, take care, bro.
All right, bro. Later.
Let's go, Pats.
No.
No. All right, it's a bad sign off. All right, dog.
All right, bro.
Take care.
Later.